Hi, Pisces. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for July of 2021. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller here in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
And now, Pisces, if Juno retrograde is bugging you in the career arena and making a mess of your relationships there, you can get a mission orders reading that will help you sort that stuff out. And I'll say more about it in a minute as we get into the horoscope. But the first thing I want to tell you is that there are really a lot of reasons to relax and enjoy this July. Things are so much better than they were last month. First of all, Mercury retrograde is over, which is fantastic, especially for all the mutable signs like you. And secondly, both of this month's moons involve all harmony and no stress. So that just creates a better general mood. And then Juno may still be retrograde, and it's bringing this sort of global relationship retrospection period, but at least it doesn't meet up with either of the moons in a stressful way. And so that means that this July is going to be a lot smoother than June went in terms of us, proceeding with our relationship retrospection period a little bit more smoothly. So that is happening for you in house number 10. You can see that Juno is right here in your 10th house, which is the arena of career. And Juno is traveling along in Sagittarius, and it is retrograde and will be until August 2nd, so throughout the rest of this month. And Juno is asking questions like, in my relationships, do I have a sense of freedom? Am I growing? Is my partner growing? Is there room for us to grow in this relationship? And you might really be asking yourself those things in the career arena in your business relationships. Whether you have a boss or have a business partner, or you consult with people or advise people, or even just are on a team with other people in your workplace or manage teams. Any of those situations might bring up some of these Juno retrograde concerns. You can find out a lot more about this Juno retrograde period in the video that we made about it, which is actually in our June 2021 playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. Well, Julia, I think you've got some stuff to say about Mercury, Venus, and Mars.
I sure do, Jamie. Well, hi, Pisces. Mercury is that planet that represents communication and mentation, and it's just finished up a retrograde cycle. However, we're still reverberating from it a little bit because it's not fully fast at the beginning of the month. It's just speeding up slowly. But for the first 11 days, Mercury is still in your fourth house of family and home. So during this cycle, as well as last month, you could have spent a lot of mental energy on your domestic life. Maybe having a lot of conversations with the people you live with, communicating more with your family, or maybe thinking a lot about your housing situation, how to make it better, or where your next housing, where you would like to live next as well. And then on July 11th, Mercury is going to move into your fifth house. And this is a very, very fun house. It's a house that represents games, and Mercury loves to play games too. So if you do play any kind of mental oriented games like video games or trivia or things of that nature, could get a little bit more playful this month. And since the fifth house also represents children, you can open up the pathways of communication with your children this month too, which is always very, very nice. And then Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, starts the month in your sixth house of work. Wherever we have Venus, we tend to have some harmony in our lives. So things should be going pretty well at the workplace in terms of getting along well with the people you work with, whether that's a boss, whether those are coworkers. And then on the 21st, Venus moves into your seventh house, where she's going to stay the rest of the month and into next month. And that's lovely because Venus loves to be in this house. The seventh house represents partnerships of all kinds. Venus is the love planet par excellence. So you can really enjoy a wonderful time with your romantic relationship. For all the singles Pisces people out there, get out there and start dating, start looking around. More stuff might come your way. And then Mars, the planet of action and activity, spends most of the month in your sixth house. It's got a day or two that it's at the end of the month, it's going to move into your seventh, but primarily it's also in your work house. So you could be spending a lot of energy at your job. Mars in the sixth house, because Mars is a little bit of an independent planet. it, you might sort of do your best work on your own if you can, instead of being part of a team. The sixth house is also a health house. So sometimes Mars in the sixth can kind of aggravate some chronic stuff that you might be dealing with, especially things that might have to do with blood, inflammation, headaches, pain, that kind of stuff, might start acting up a little bit. And then Mars is going to move into your seventh house on the 29th. So bringing a little of that warrior energy into your relationships, but we'll talk a lot more about that next month.
Yes, indeed. There it is, just popping up into the seventh house very briefly at the end of the month. Okay, so I want to tell you some of the other factors going on this month. There are a couple of moons. Also, Chiron goes retrograde, and we, of course, have a seasonal change. So the first of these things is the new moon in Cancer, which is happening on July 9th. And here it is sitting there in your fifth house. Now, this moon, we've named it Random Kindness because I think when the moon is in Cancer, it is just that it flows with the very milk of human kindness. There is such a nurturing quality, and it's really very appropriate for a new moon as well, because new moons have to do with planting seeds, right? So planting seeds of nurture and care and kindness and warmth is a beautiful thing to do. So in our video about it, in the July 2021 news playlist, we talk about, how great this moon is for, practicing acts of random kindness and, doing good things for other people and not even taking credit for it. So this is happening in your fifth house. So you could even make it into a sort of a game. You can have fun with it. You can be playful about it. Just do something fun and playful that's kind to another person under this moon, right around the 9th of July. The next thing that happens is on July 15th, Chiron is going retrograde. And you can see it right here in your second house. If you're having a Chiron transit this year, you might feel the 15th as a turning point in your long-term healing process. It can also look like a wounding experience. And then if you approach it the right way, maybe because you've had a reading about it, you can find that it's actually an opportunity to heal something more deeply than ever before. We've made a video to tell you, to help you, figure out how to handle Chiron transits and to talk about how they feel. But what I'm going to say right now is that Chiron being in your second house, it's engaged in a long-term passage through this house. And it may be bringing up old wounding about some of the basics in life, food, body, and money. You may be having body image stuff come up. If you feel like not very comfortable in your own skin, you might have some stuff come up around eating or nutrition or nourishing yourself or others in your care. Or you might have some financial issues coming up to the surface. And this could be a powerful year for healing those things. So the video that we made about it is about Chiron transits in general, and you'll find it in the July 2021 news playlist. Then the next thing I want to tell you about is the change of season, which is happening a little bit later. And you'll see the sun traveling along through Cancer and finishing out there. It moves into Leo right there on the 22nd, 23rd. And the season of Leo is warm, expansive. It brings the feeling of relaxation and generosity. It's a great time for creativity. So putting the spotlight on creativity is a great thing to do during Leo season. For you, this falls in the sixth house, which is the house where we organize stuff. So you might want to organize your creativity or be creative about your organization. And that's a fun thought. Okay, then the final thing I want to tell you about is the full moon in Aquarius on July 3rd. And the sun is sitting there in the sixth house, and the moon will be opposite to it right here in the 12th house. When the moon is in the 12th house during a full moon, there is this desire to pull inward. There is a need for solitude. The moon sometimes tells us where we can get the most nourishment. And the 12th house is a house of isolation and solitude. So you may find yourself pulling inward, consulting your spiritual sources of information, doing some prayer or meditation, contemplation, those sorts of things might be really good to do during this moon. And because this moon is in Aquarius, we're calling it community support. And I mentioned before that both of the moons this month have only harmony and no stress. And this one falling in Aquarius brings up those themes of community, tribe, groups, friends. So even though I'm suggesting solitude, you might actually want to do those solitary activities in a group. And I know that sounds paradoxical, but when you go to church, you pray with everybody and you participate in the oneness of it all, right? You do that when you're in temple, you do that in a meditation class. And it's that group experience of oneness with all that I think this moon wants to bring you this month. And you can find out about that, more about that one in our July 2021 news playlist as well. Well, that's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please be sure to share our videos widely. Subscribe to our channel. Visit us online at pandoraastrology.com, where you can see the monthly forecast or get a reading or even take a class. And until next time, we'll see you on the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.